Recorded live.
Yes, recorded live. My Krishna, I feel really nostalgic. I haven't heard the little talk show blurb in quite a while. It's been since January since we've done the Slam and Stand podcast.
Yeah.
Not Fredo.
Yeah.
So it's just weird how much time passes.
We're basically using this one just for guests.
That's right. We are using Slam and Stand for LuchaWorld.
It's one of those talk shows. One of those confusing things where we can't really figure it out. So.
That's right. So Slam and Stand, you are a spent lover, and we're using you as a vehicle for LuchaWorld. We have a very special guest on tonight, Kevin Kleinrock, who has been involved in quite a few wrestling projects in a very short period of time, and is trying to tackle what looks like might be his biggest project yet.
He still has a couple of other projects mixed in there too. So.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got the Triple Mania. He's got Triple A also. He's involved in some format. Some form
this
with
cat
Triple A.
Is all over the place.
But this one's the Viva L.A. Lucha. Not to be confused with Viva La Lucha.
Viva La Lucha. That was the San Diego.
That was the pay-per-views. That was the pay-per-views and the old San Diego promotion.
That's right, the old San Diego promotion. And if you go way back in time, it was a really terrible newsletter I put out in the late 1980s. Yeah,
really?
Viva La Lucha.
I think that's right. And there was a website also called Viva La Lucha too. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes.
I think it was some guy in San Francisco or something that did it.
Yes,
actually not that bad. It wasn't that bad of a website.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
It was that bad of a newsletter, I can tell you that.
How bad was it? What were you writing about?
We were writing some about the local scene, the Tijuana shows, when the FMW show came in. Wrote on that. I guess it wasn't terrible writing, but it was mainly covering matches, and it was the era where Dave Meltzer started to become really popular with the general wrestling fan public. And I just thought my writing was kind of dry because I was still trying to be careful what to write, since I knew a number of people who were local workers who were still very kayfabe. You could.
You don't want to offend
read. Yeah, you can read between the lines. You could write stuff where you would read between the lines, but how do I say? You didn't want to piss anybody off. You didn't want to go over the line just because. It's the indie guys tend to take things even a little more personally back in the kayfabe days, and they were a bit delusional too.
You know what I was?
Not all of them.
I wanted to ask you. Maybe you would know. Rob Ari posted a video of a guy from the mid-'90s called Anticristo.
Anticristo?
Yeah, Antichrist from T.
I remember the name. I can't honestly say I remembered him as a wrestler, but no, I remember that name being around.
Yeah, because he cuts one of the worst promos ever. I think you might have heard the whole story of that's one of the old videos that people used to bring up as one of the worst promos of all time.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's up there it's on YouTube. If you go on Rob's YouTube page, Rob Viper.
I'll have to check that out and see if he looks familiar because it's so funny when I was younger and used to see all the local lucha guys. I always thought, oh man, I'm not going to forget any of these guys. These characters are so memorable, especially for an indie level. And well, now I feel like an old man trying to remember half the names, that I took photos of, but didn't write down or anything like that.
He has this pause when he talks, which is kind of weird, but it just makes the interview. It makes his promo that much better.
That's even funnier. That's almost like so bad it's good.
Yeah, I think we have Kevin on the line already.
We have Kevin on the line?
Yeah.
No problem. How are you?
Kevin, you're in Southern California right now?
No, I am. I moved to Northern California.
Yeah,
right now
Well, apparently TalkSheep thinks you're in Southern California.
Yeah, I kept my cell phone. It's my same 818 cell phone that I've had for God knows how long now.
So you are, at heart, a SoCal boy through and through. No changing that.
Always. Yes, Van Nuys will always be
awesome.
Van Nuys in my heart forever.
All right. Well, it's great to have you on. You know, we had you on Slamistan once before quite some time ago, and you've had your hands full of, you know, God knows how many projects in the last number of years. It sounds like yeah. I mean, before it sounds like the pinnacle was WSX, but it looks like you're shooting a little higher with the projects you are handling right now. And, well, why don't you just spill it out? Tell us about it. What's going on?
Well, we got a couple things going on right now.
Uh-oh, did we lose Kevin?
I think we lost Kevin.
Uh-oh. Come back, Kevin.
Do you have any elevator music you could play?
I think we lost Kevin. Uh-oh.
You know, I think in my garage I have an LP of a, this is an LP called Fresh Hair, and it's Muzak renditions of Hair.
Right,
on
I think he's
still on,
there? But it's not working.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Kevin, are you on? His cell phone must have gone off. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, no.
Kevin?
Kevin, come
this
back.
Is the greatest ever. This is the greatest.
We could sell the Kickstarter project. It's Viva L.A.
We could sell that. We could speak for Kevin.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun to talk about my album called Fresh Hair, which is elevator music version of songs from the soundtrack of Hair, all done on the Moog synthesizer.
I wanted to ask Kevin if we could Kickstarter our own project, which was going to be explosions to his Kickstarter project.
Yes, I still like that.
I think his cell phone must have gone off.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Kurt sings song.
He's typing something. Oh, yeah, that's right. What can I sing, you know?
Oh, he sent you something or what?
Oh, he's rebooting the phone.
Oh, okay.
I just checked it on Facebook here, so you don't have to hear me sing.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because he has a lot of guys who are like from the local scene that are working this Viva L.A. Lucha show that you've seen. Brian Cage.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
Famous B, I think, is on there. Yeah, Famous B. Ray Rosas. You just saw Ray Rosas, didn't you?
I just saw Ray Rosas, and Famous B is a favorite of mine going several years back now.
Yeah, really good worker. Buggy Nova.
Buggy Nova, great to see her again.
Christina Vanieri, a lot of good-looking, goth-looking women. The type of woman that Dave Meltzer would make fun of us liking.
You know, have they done the emo gimmick?
Who? Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Anybody. Anybody.
Sure. Yeah, it's been around for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think
that's how out of touch I am.
Yeah, they're bringing in somebody from England also, which should be interesting.
Oh, this sounds like it might be fun. He says he is trying to reboot his phone, having some technical difficulty. This is actually really fun. You
should just read his. You should tell him to write everything he wants us to talk about, and then you can read it out loud on the show.
Yeah, you know. Exactly.
Worst case scenario, we could do that.
I better start singing, huh?
Well, I think Jack Evans is also going to be in this. Oh no,
that's going to be very cool.
You could pick from the AAA guys, like Macias, Jack Evans. I think the guys. Oh, they're going to bring in Mortis from CMLL.
When somebody loves you.
Hijo de Rey Mysterio, Pesadilla.
No good unless they love you.
Pesadilla, not to be confused with Quesadilla.
Oh,
Kurt, come on, don't start singing. I'm telling you about this Kickstarter project.
Happy to be near you when you need someone to cheer you.
Pantera Jr. Hey, you've never seen Pantera Jr.
All the way. Who?
Pantera Jr.
I would love to see Pantera Jr.
Yeah, the son.
Now, when you're saying Pantera Jr., the son of Pantera, the one that was really awesome 20 years ago?
Well, that's the problem. There were like a bunch of different Panteras. You didn't hear that story about the other Pantera that everybody thought was dead? Wasn't dead?
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah, there was. Well, apparently, one day Cubs fan decides to write about Pantera, about the one that passed away, that supposedly passed away, and then somebody posted it or something, and the guy is like, "Oh, I'm not dead. I'm still alive." So it's like so it became this whole big deal about how Pantera was actually alive. So now I'm really confused. I'm guessing Pantera, the second one.
Aha.
Yeah.
We hear that voice.
Sorry about that.
Kevin's
That's okay.
back,
We were talking about Pantera Jr.
Okay. Pantera Jr. is awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about the guys that you guys were bringing in for this show. But tell us about the Kickstarter project.
Okay, try this again. So the Kickstarter project, I guess going back a little bit. So a few years ago, for Master Public, so for those that don't know, Master Public is a company that is myself and Ruben Zamora, my partner in Master Public, and our whole mission is to bring Lucha Libre beyond the borders of Mexico. And there's no one single thing that means. Like a lot of people sometimes think, oh, Master Public's a wrestling promotion, but it's not. Sometimes that means putting on shows. Sometimes that means pitching television shows. Sometimes it means distributing DVDs or pay-per-views. We work with AAA. We've worked with AAA in different capacities over the last few years. Now, as they're getting ready to move to the U.S., we're going to be working with them in some different capacities than we have been. And as we've developed projects and as we've done projects, we recognized that there was a need, or there was going to be a need, for talent for us to pick from whenever our projects moved forward. And while there's a ton of talent out there, we wanted to kind of have a little bit more control in the wrestlers that were going to be groomed for us and those characters and moving them along and preparing them. And so we started what we've called the Master Public Development System, and that was really tapping into the Santino Brothers Dojo in L.A. and the Pro Wrestling Revolution Training Academy in Northern California. And then most recently, we just added the SAT's Ludus Wrestling School in Brooklyn, New York, so we can get our hands around some of the East Coast talent. But as we saw what's happened in the industry over the last couple of years, with AAA's plans on coming to the United States and the fact that they like to bring more Americans that fit the right mold into their company, and looking at TNA and the way that they still really haven't done anything to latch onto Lucha, and the way WWE, despite the fact that Rey Mysterio Jr. was this huge hit for them, and Alberto Del Rio on a different level has been successful for them, they still haven't really been able to recreate the Rey Mysterio Jr. phenomenon. They took the guy
that again.
Yeah, they took the guy that was the biggest draw in Mexico, and they turned him into a mid-carder at best.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like they were making a bet. Okay, how can we totally bury a star?
And the two of you can sit there and understand why, not necessarily 100% why it went down the way it did, but if you guys had been booking and looking to bring Sin Cara in and protect him at first and get him over in a particular way and then put him in the matches that made sense, you would have done it very differently than the way it was done.
Absolutely.
And so, we looked at this and we said, we have a need, but there's others that have a need as well. And that need is for luchadors who can transition to the American or traditional, or as Sean Waltman calls it, the main event wrestling style. And then we also need American workers or traditional workers who can get into the ring and go with luchadors and showcase and highlight their moves and take their moves and work to get them over as well. One of the questions that was just asked to me by Mike Johnson when I did an interview for PW Insider the other day was, he's like, well, this doesn't seem like all lucha. You've got guys like Adam Pearce involved. And I was like, you have to look at what Adam's done over the last number of years with his career when he did that run as the NWA champion. You know, he was in there wrestling in front of thousands of people all over the country against Blue Demon and other big-name luchadors because that's what was drawing for those NWA shows. And so while Adam's not a luchador, I have no doubt that Adam could get into the ring with any luchador out there and wrestle a match that was going to make sense for both of them. And so that's
one of the points, one of the points a lot of people miss that Dave Meltzer has addressed several times in the past week, one in the remembrance of Hector Garza, is that there's a lot of wrestlers should be able to work each other's styles, because like back in the 70s, you had guys who had no clue about each other's styles, especially in Texas and California, where you'd have people who came in like Raul Mata, Gordon and Goliath, who were pure Mexican style, and then John Tolos and Blassie, straight American, but they figured a way to work with each other. So it's something that can be done for some reason.
But I
like
think
in WWE, they think it's rocket science or something, where you do have to learn it. There's an art to it, but it can be done.
Yeah, but think about it, too. Think about it. I mean, I would venture to say that those guys that were headlining the Olympics back in the day, if you put them in the ring with any indie wrestler today, they would be able to figure out a way to have a good match. Whereas if you put two indie wrestlers in the ring against each other today, it doesn't necessarily happen, and it definitely doesn't happen without a lot of planning sometimes. It was just
that's a very good point. I mean, the way people work is very different than it was back then.
Yeah, and so you have to adjust with the times, and I think that even look at the way that the WWE has brought a number of guys out of Mexico to FCW, and how many of them actually have lasted in FCW, let alone have a real shot of ever getting to the main roster. And I think that part of what people don't realize or don't think about, and by people, I even mean like people within the WWE, is that there is such a culture shock and such a learning curve of going from just being a top indie wrestler in America to being a WWE-ready wrestler. Look at Chris Hero. Here's a guy who headlined anywhere he went across the world, Europe and the U.S., and he was a main event guy anywhere he went because he's that good. But he has been in FCW now for quite some time, and I honestly don't know when he will be brought up to the main roster. So so you've got that huge learning curve and that huge timetable. Now imagine taking somebody from Mexico who not only physically has to learn the basics of just the indie level, like they're already starting out probably a year or two removed from where Chris Hero, was a year or two before he was even in FCW. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just this huge learning curve just to get to the American indie level of knowing, working to the opposite side, the psychology of understanding that, it's not as much comedy in the matches. Your stuff needs to look more realistic. And so I think that WWE does itself a great disservice by rushing guys from Mexico into FCW when there really should be somewhere for them to go and just get that first step of the transition before they go to FCW. And I think that they might then find that they're having more success with transitioning guys from Mexico from FCW to the WWE itself. And that's kind of, again, where this whole Viva L.A. Lucha concept came from, was we need guys that can go both ways. WWE needs guys that can go both ways. TNA, if they were smart, would be wanting to do some more stuff in the Lucha space. And so we had come up with this Viva L.A. Lucha concept, which is, look, Los Angeles is a melting pot of cultures, and the idea of this show is it's a melting pot of these styles, and we're going to get guys who are going to be able to move on from Viva L.A. Lucha and graduate to go to AAA or WWE or TNA or Master Public projects. And to do that, we're going to be bringing in talent that is up-and-coming talent from Mexico, up-and-coming talent from the United States, from the UK, and we're going to be putting them in the ring not just against each other and being coached by, and again, when I say coach, this is not a reality show. What people will see on television or in these webisodes will just be a wrestling show. It'll be good, action-packed wrestling. I like to look at, like, if WSX hadn't been cut to hell in the edit bay, or stuff that looks like Dragon Gate and Evolve, that type of wrestling. But behind the scenes, they'll be produced by, and in this day and age, produced means they'll be the agents. They'll be working with them to help kind of train them and move them along. Konnan and Sean Waltman will be the main producers. Really, first off, obviously, I don't think there's not a better guy in the world than Konnan to be able to teach people both styles and what to do in the ring for both audiences. Here's a guy who
he has such a unique learning experience in his own career. Started off pure lucha and had to adapt to American style. And somebody who, I first knew him around that time when he was in TJ, and I never met a wrestler who just studied the business so intensely. Not just styles, but looking for things that most people don't look for, even people in the business.
Yeah, and I think that I think people that listen to the NLW podcast, they learn so much about his career, but he's not shy about it. He's like, look, I knew crap about the American style when I first got here, and everybody kind of assumed that I did because I was really from I was living in San Diego, or I was from Florida, and he had no clue how to wrestle that American style, but was getting thrown into major matches right away, and so he quickly had to learn and adapt. And then you go to a guy like Sean Waltman, who has had a storied career in the American wrestling scene, from the indie level to the WWE, to the top of WCW at their height, to the top of WWE at their height, then went to Mexico and spent a few years in AAA. And actually, I was talking with him earlier today, and he was reminding me that, like, even before all that, when he was younger, before WWE, when he was in Japan, and he was training in Japan, the lucha style was very big and influential over there, and so he was learning that style in Japan before he even went to the WWE. So
working with folks like Tejano back then.
Yeah. And, and so you've got those guys, and then you've got a number of top indie talents like the Young Bucks, like Brian Cage, guys that want to be part of this because they wrestle that style or know how to wrestle that style, and see the value in in working with others that are coming up through the ranks of independent wrestling, and see the value in the show and what we're creating. So we're excited to have guys like that on board. Like I mentioned, Adam Pearce and Chaos, and these guys who can really help to mold and shape guys, and we're going to produce an entertaining in-ring product in the process. And so we're taking the Kickstarter to raise the money to do the television pilot and 8 webisodes. And the reason we're kind of saying it like that is, when you look at what we're trying to raise on Kickstarter, it seems like a ton of money. $60,000 for a wrestling project really does seem like a lot. But when you break it down, we're going to produce more content than I produced for MTV, for Wrestling Society X, for 2% of what that WSX budget was. Like, the WSX budget in the end was $3.5 million. And we're going to create more per minute, or more minutes of wrestling than we did with Wrestling Society X, and for a fraction of the cost. And, when we looked at doing this, it was like, well, if we're going to do a pilot that's going to be an airable pilot, and airable means that we can walk into a network and they could put it on the air tomorrow because it's done, it's in HD, it's got all the high-end graphics, it's got the color correction, the audio mixing, the closed captioning, it's ready to go. That costs a lot of money when you get down to it. Everything just adds up. And so we thought, well, we could go to Kickstarter and we could probably, try to raise like $40,000, maybe a little bit more, just to do the pilot. Or we can raise it by a certain amount and deliver basically a whole mini-series of 8 episodes on top of that. And if for some reason, look, it's hard to sell a TV show. So I don't make any guarantees that we will get this on television, but what I wanted to do was guarantee that these episodes would end up being available for the public to see. They will get to see them in some way, form, or another, but the people that back it are going to be able to see them first. Via live iPay-per-view, we'll be actually doing the tapings live if you back it at a certain level. And the iPay-per-view experience actually is going to be different than the final product. Like, the final product will be the edited product. It'll have the commentators. If you listen in Spanish, it will be the guys from Tercera Caída, and if you and AAA Fusion. And if you listen in English, it will be Arda Ocal and another commentator yet to be determined. But the iPay-per-view is going to kind of be more of a behind the scenes of how this television production is coming together. So yes, you'll see the action going on in the ring, but there will also be a camera in the production room where people will be cutting promos, and you'll get to see people being coached on how to deliver promos. Because again, part of this whole transition from Mexico to the U.S. and from the U.S. to Mexico is at least being able to cut basic promos in, your non-native language probably. And even a lot of guys that are already speak English who can use work on their promos and becoming better characters. Plus, you will get on this iPay-per-view the producer commentary. You'll get Sean Waltman and Konnan and their live thoughts about what's going on in the ring, who's ready to move on to the next level, who needs more work where. And that's commentary that's never going to be available outside of that live iPay-per-view. It won't be on the DVD. It won't be on the webisode. That's just going to be commentary for the backers to be able to experience.
That's quite a diverse collection of stuff you guys have going on. Now, with the Kickstarter, one of the tantalizing things are all the perks that the people who donate get. What are some of the perks, especially when it gets over X amount of money? So that's like the iPay-per-view thing is only available to backers who back it on Kickstarter. We've tried to make it really easy for people in terms of if you want to support this. So number one, you can support by even giving $1. Like we've accepted, what Kickstarter has is the minimum donation of $1. So literally, if you just want to see this project get made and all you've got is a few bucks to donate, we will take your few bucks and try to put it towards making this project. The rewards start at $10. For $10, you get like some really cool Lucha Libre stickers. But then the prizes, the rewards go up. For $15, you're going to get a digital download of the pilot once it's done. The most popular package at this point has been the $35 package, which is the live iPay-per-view with like the commentary that we were talking about. You'll get VOD access on WWN Live to all 8 of the webisodes before they're ever made public, months before they're ever made public. You will get a vote in one talent from AAA. There'll be a list to choose from, and one talent from the UK to come in and be part of the tapings, which is kind of going to be a fun little thing for people to actually be able to get a say into the talent. And then there's a bunch of other little bits and pieces that go with that too. And then the rewards get bigger and bigger. Tickets to the live taping, exclusive limited edition merchandise from Konnan plush keychains to autographed items from Sean and Konnan, limited edition Konnan masks, all the way up to the biggest reward, other than the corporate sponsorship, but the biggest reward, which is a $5,000 reward, but it's pretty sweet. It is being flown from anywhere in the United States to San Diego to personally sit and view the pilot before anyone else in the world sees it with Konnan and Ruben Zamora, the president or the CEO of Master Public. And then after that, head into Tijuana with Konnan and Ruben and get VIP access and treatment at a Tijuana Lucha show, the real, full, authentic experience of going to a Lucha show in TJ and getting a VIP tour from Konnan, getting to see the world famous Auditorio, and where so many guys like Konnan and Ray Jr. and Psychosis and Hoovy, all started to break into the business. So, a really cool reward. And then there's everything in the middle. So all the rewards are available on the Kickstarter page. You can see it. You can back it. Plus, what we're doing is we're kind of giving people a little bonus reward for the sooner that they back. We're going to release – we did in 2000 and it must have been like late 2007. We shot a pilot for the G4 network called Viva L.A. Lucha, not to be confused with Viva L.A. Lucha. And we went down to Tijuana, and we shot a really cool wrestling lucha pilot. At the time, G4 had decided to do 4 pilots, 2 wrestling-related pilots. It was us and Kaiju Big Battle, and 2 MMA-related pilots. And we were all ready to, we were all working on the pilots, and we were in the edit bay actually working on editing this to turn it into the network. And the network head decided, we don't want to do any lucha or wrestling or MMA. So, thanks, but no thanks. So we have this really cool unreleased pilot that's never seen the light of day. So what we're doing is we've now cut up that pilot into the 5 matches that it was. And every week we're going to release one to the backers of our Kickstarter. So the sooner that you back, the more matches you're going to get from that taping delivered direct to you in your email. The matches were pretty cool. The first match that we are giving away is a 6-man tag. It was, you guys may be familiar. I'm guaranteeing most of the listeners aren't, but there was a trio from Mexicali called the Ego Boys that were around quite a bit in the later part of the last decade, like 2005 to 2010. Really good trio out of Mexicali, and they took on Los Luchas, Phoenix Star, and Zocre, and Cobra 2, who is TJ Perkins, in a really fun 6-man tag. Other matches from that taping included Extreme Tiger versus Mortiz, before they both went on to do other things, including Tiger going on and winning multiple titles in AAA, and Mortiz going to CMLL for a bit. The main event was Rey Mysterio Sr. And La Parca, or L.A. Park, taking on Nicho and Phobia, his brother. And there was we had a minis match that included a couple guys that are no longer with us. Espectrito and Octagoncito. Who else was in that match? Here's a bit of trivia for you. So La Parquita was supposed to be in that match.
La Parquita?
But La Parca, Raleigh Park, showed up to the building and was not very happy with young La Parquita, who apparently never actually got permission from Park to do the La Parquita gimmick.
Big Park a no-no.
Yeah, big lucha no-no. And so Park basically said, look, I respect you guys. I've worked with you guys before. But if he goes on as La Parquita, I'm not going on. Well, there was a very easy decision. and we went and told La Parquita, dude, you did the wrong thing. He had no, he didn't try to argue that whatsoever. He avoided La Parca the whole time that he was there. And he graciously, said, all right, cool. Well, it just so happens that Extreme Tiger's mask fit him very well. So for one night only, he was Mini Tigre in Extreme Tiger's mask and a sweater.
Very cool. A scholastic tiger.
Yeah, another bit of trivia from the original G4 pilot. The commentary was originally done in TJ by Larry Rivera and Chavo. No, not Chavo. Man, I am blanking.
Was it Mondo?
No, Chavo Senior. Chavo Senior. Exactly. That ended up not being good commentary for the network. So
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So then we had tapped a guy who, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a very short-lived series out of Guadalajara that I did with Vampiro called RXLL.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. What was that? What was that about?
That was Vamp had found some people that wanted to get into wrestling, and we did some tapings out in Guadalajara, and then there was no more money from these people, and so nothing else happened. That was pretty much it. It was also the only booking meeting I've ever been in my life with people standing around with semi-automatic weapons.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that'd be a little fascinating or unsettling or either or both.
That was a trip. Yeah, and it's funny because it was so nonchalant. It was just like they were just standing around, hanging out, making sure nothing bad happened, but they were carrying semi-automatic weapons around there. And it was just like no one else seemed to have a problem with it. It was just like, okay, sure, I guess when in Guadalajara. So there was a guy who actually is a pretty decently known guy on Estrella TV these days, named Jorge, and Jorge was the host of the shows down there, and he had just moved to Los Angeles to go to work for Estrella. And so I called him and I was like, hey, I need a new host for this show. Can you come in and do it? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come do it. And then he got there and he was like, oh, it's in English? Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable doing it. If it was in Spanish, dude, I'm on it. So unfortunately, we were then on set with it lit, ready to go. And that was a night that Many People was really born. As the man behind Many People ran home, got his mask and his sport coat, and jumped on camera, and that became the first real on-camera appearance, other than maybe like an indie spot here or there, of Many People, who became the host of the show. So this pilot also has very entertaining. The show was supposed to be done as an entertainment show. Yes, it was Lucha Libre, but kind of like with MTV and certain things that they wanted from WSX, G4 wanted certain things. Like, for example, when guys hit big moves, a la like 1960s Batman, they wanted the names of the moves to like fly up from the screen. So they do. And it wasn't just like the finisher. It was like mid-match. Guy hits a tope conillo, and boom, there you go, boom, across the screen, tope conillo. And then there was like little factoids, similar to like the Ultimate Insiders DVDs that I had done, where like little factoids might pop up or whatever.
Like that one show on VH1, right? That they did the pop-up video?
Yeah, like pop-up video. There were certain things that they wanted that we absolutely said no to. For example, obsessed with Nacho Libre, they wanted the ropes covered in red velvet.
Oh, no.
I had to explain to them that the guys couldn't perform their moves off of the rope safely if they were covered in loose velvet. So that got nixed. But there were other things we had to give on, which actually brings this conversation full circle to why Kickstarter. So G4 wanted to have their thumbprint on the show I brought them. No problem. They're paying for it. MTV, look, they put $3.5 million behind, a wrestling idea. So they got their say in it. But this time around, I really wanted to bring a network something that was completed in our vision of what a good quality wrestling show can look and feel like before they decide, well, what if this, what if that? And so that's why we're taking the Kickstarter and trying to raise the money this way through crowdsourcing or fan sourcing so that we can complete a pilot that we know is going to be something that the wrestling fans like and that we're happy with, and then we can shop it to the networks. And, if after that there's requests for changes here or there, then that's something we can consider, but we don't have to kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, bastardize the product from day one because it's the network's money. So
yes.
That's kind of why Kickstarter.
Very cool. And what is the Kickstarter site?
So
and
you
said
can go.
I'll post a link to it on the site.
Oh,
so,
okay, yes.
you can post a direct link. I will gladly send you the links, or if anyone is my friend on Facebook, they're probably sick of me posting the link by now.
Yeah,
but
I think it's a really long link.
Yeah, but the thing is, you
so
can
you can't recite it here like a poem like Kubla Khan or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
You can just go to Kickstarter.com, which is easy enough to remember, and just type in Viva La Lucha or Viva L.A. Lucha. Either one works.
Just put in a couple of keywords.
Yeah, I think even Master Public will bring it up as well. We definitely need the help. We are still way far away from reaching our goal. Now, here's the other thing with Kickstarter and why we chose Kickstarter. Because there are other sites out there that help you raise funds, but those sites basically work with, you say, I want to raise X, and even if you only raise 10% of X, you get the money. Well, the problem with that is that doesn't guarantee that the project's going to get done, because if I only raise 10% of the money, I have to still go out and find the other 90%. And what if I can't find the 90%? Then the 10% that I raised that people have pledged and given me, whatever happens to their money? And the great thing with Kickstarter, for the fans and for the people that back it to feel confident, is that Kickstarter is all or nothing. If we don't raise $60,000 or more, we get nothing. And when you go and pledge or back the project today, like your credit card gets authorized for $1. They just want to make sure it's a legit credit card. And if the campaign is successful because we get more than $60,000 or $60,000 back, then on that day that the campaign closes, which is like 34 days from today when we're recording, then everybody's cards get charged and we get our money after it comes safely through Kickstarter. So there's no real risk of what happens if they only get part of the money. Like it's all or nothing. It's on us. So if we only raise $59,000, that's it. Nothing will happen. Nothing will get made. The other thing that we want to make sure that people kind of feel confident in and guaranteed is we're going to make this happen, and it's going to happen in a timely manner if people back it. Our campaign closes right at the end of June, and we're guaranteeing people that if we get this done, we will shoot, edit, and distribute this product before the end of this year. There have been some other Kickstarters in the past where people have funded successfully, and then it drags on and on and on to get the product done. That's not going to happen here. And our track record of having produced television, having produced pay-per-views, having produced DVDs, all things that have to be produced and come out in a timely manner to meet schedules, I think kind of hopefully gives people the confidence in backing us, and that, if you do, you're going to see what you've been promised in a timely manner. Plus, I think if you look at the talent that's backing us, that's out there, from Konnan to Sean Waltman to the Adam Pearces of the world, and they're saying, hey, we are part of this product. And I'm flattered to have Konnan going out there and doing interviews and Waltman going out there and doing interviews and really trying to help make this thing happen. I think the fact that they have faith in us to deliver, I don't think they're going to want to put their names on a product or with a group of people that they feel will screw the fans over. So I hope that people see our path and these guys and go, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Let's try to make this show happen. Let's, give our $10 or $15 or whatever, and get the great reward.
This sounds like a fun show to support, and we want to urge all our Slam and Stan and LuchaWorld visitors, cash in on some of this, because not only do you get a really fresh product out there, they're trying to do something new, but you can reap a lot of rewards for a pretty minimal price.
Yeah,
and the 5,000 VIP trip sounds pretty tempting. If I had that, I'd go for it right now.
Konnan would lead you in TJ.
It'd still be bitching. Because I could be flown from Orange County to San Diego. That's why.
Yes,
that's why it would be so bitching.
I would gladly honor that.
Yes.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about.
Do you think Konnan, do you think Konnan would be willing to greet me at the airport, like with a Viking hat on or something like that?
With the sign that says Kurt.
Yes, exactly.
If you pledge $5,000, I will make him.
Will you be there at the airport with him, twisting his arms so that we can all see it? That would be worth $5,000.
Probably so. Konnan, we're going to the airport so we can go to Iran. Let's go to the airport.
I don't think you guys would get to TJ, you know. I think you guys would be busy in Iran.
That's right. He's got a lot to do there. In fact, we're talking Konnan. Is this kind of the brainstorm of both you and Konnan, or one of you more than the other? Like, were you all just kind of sitting back one night, just shooting back some shots, or just?
No, unfortunately. No, honestly, this is something that, like I said, Ruben and I started, this plan for this Master Public development a few years ago, and then the idea for doing a Viva L.A. Lucha show was kind of it came from, hey, let's do a television show in L.A. that could highlight our development guys from Northern California and Southern California, and we started playing around with this idea well over a year ago. But only recently did we kind of take the step back, and as these plans for AAA to come to the U.S. came about, we started thinking about their need for talent, started thinking about the WWE and TNA's need for talent. And Konnan and I talk often, and I know the types of guys that he's looking for. A few years ago, probably before I moved to Northern California, so maybe about 3.5 years ago now, it might have been even, I organized a tryout in Los Angeles for AAA, where a number of wrestlers from around California came and tried out. And their plans to come to the U.S. were supposed to happen much earlier than now. They kind of had some hiccups along the way, but thankfully those hiccups are over, and they have a tremendous deal and partnership now with some great big Hollywood, LA companies that are going to do, I think, wonders for them all over the entertainment space. I'm very excited to see what will happen for them, because Lord knows it's time, and they definitely deserve it now. But so Konnan and I have a lot of the same kind of just ideas and philosophies about talent, and we like a lot of the same types of worker rates, I guess you could say, and styles. And so it wasn't too long ago, actually, that Ruben and I presented the idea to him, and he liked it and said, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, totally makes sense. Let's do it. And so that's kind of where it went from there. And then I was trying to figure out, who else could we tap? I wanted another producer, but I wanted it to be someone whose background was more on the American side. And just really got to thinking about it. And Sean was actually my first choice. And I gave him a call and kind of laid out the concept to him, and he was very excited to do it. And we're very happy to have him involved. And that's the other thing. I think, like, Sean Waltman, I think, is probably because of some of the antics that he might have been known for, some of the drama of his past. I think he's like one of the most underrated minds when it comes to this business. I think you can't live through all of the experience that he's lived through and not just have this like wealth of knowledge. But there's two different kinds of guys, maybe more, but there's at least two different kinds of guys when it comes to the wrestling business. There are wrestlers who don't want to share and give knowledge because they're afraid that that's going to weaken their opportunities and their potential to hold on to their spot. And then there are guys that are confident enough in their own abilities, and they're good enough that they aren't worried about that, and they want to be teachers, and they want to help people, and they want to see better wrestlers and a better wrestling product. And Konnan and Sean are both the exact same way with that. even though Sean wasn't a producer when we did Wrestling Society X, we gave him a basic idea. He would come up with all his stuff from there, and he would talk, to the younger guys, and he'd watch matches, and he'd see, and give advice and constructive criticism, and he's really good with that. And throughout the years, I've worked with him on other projects, and just other random times, just catching up and talking for hours on the phone, and just hearing him, and he's just brilliant when it comes to what to do to get over and how to get over. And I'm not a wrestler. I have never been a wrestler. And so I don't naturally think the way a wrestler does. And that's why whenever I do projects, even if I'm quote unquote writing or the booker, I always like having agents or producers who are wrestlers or who have been wrestlers, because there are the things that happen within a match that tell the story of the match, that help the heel be the heel and the babyface be the babyface, and help foreshadow for other matches, that I might be able to relay to the wrestlers and the producer the overall story of what I want. But when it comes to putting a great wrestling match together that tells a story within the ring and that has subtleties and intricacies, it really does take someone who's been in the ring who naturally thinks that way, to help bring these guys up and to help teach them how to do that. And so, it's been great over the years to work with, with some of the guys who've been able to do that. And I've always wanted to. I always wanted to work with Konnan in some sort of a creative capacity. We've been talking about this for years and years. Waltman and I, since the XPW days, have had conversations on and off, and we've wanted to work together in a creative, capacity. And this is just the right time for it. So we're really hoping that it comes together and the fans support it and see the value in it. And I think it's also just great, too, because it's going to be so different than the WWE and the TNA product. And I think that, for a $10 or $15 back of our project, where you're going to get something for that money anyway, but the possibility of helping to launch another national wrestling show, because we will go meet with, a number of networks once we do this pilot, is a real cool opportunity that hopefully people will embrace.
And I hope they do, because, we really could use something really fresh in the wrestling industry right now. And another reason why we want to encourage the listeners to, put some cash down there, because, this could be the beginning of something really wonderful, and especially with Lucha Libre having that really popular, American kitsch, a hybrid product like you're talking about. It's probably just the right timing, and it can only be done, though, if some people pitch in and hit that Kickstarter and help, and, support these guys. This sounds like a really, really unique project.
Yeah, it should be good. It should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the truth of the matter is we have a network already that wants to be in business with Master Public. They just don't have much money. I know that if we shoot these shows and go to this network, we could probably get these shows aired nationally. My hope is that we can end up taking these episodes to a network that might actually be willing to pay for them or have a little bit more money, so that we can then shoot more episodes and keep it going. But I have confidence in our ability as producers and our ability to, make the most out of what really is a small budget for producing so much content, and deliver a show that is going to be great. I think if you look back at what Wrestling Society X was in terms of the in-ring product, and you think about who we had there, we broke the Dragon Gate guys onto the worldwide, outside of Japan television scene. Yoshino and Horiguchi. People had never seen Dragon Gate wrestling on a national level before. We had Jack Evans, who had done some stuff in Ring of Honor and the early TNA when they were just on pay-per-view. But, Jack went on from WSX to now be a semi-main eventer and house show main eventer in AAA. We had Teddy Hart. We had, two guys that went on to the WWE, in Evan Bourne and in an artist currently known as Seth Rollins. We had so much great talent, and they did so much good wrestling in the ring. And I really feel like if given the opportunity to do this show, we're going to blow people away with what that in-ring product looks like, and this this hybrid of lucha and traditional pro wrestling. So I'm really excited to try to do it. It's funny at first. Look, you have to go into Kickstarter hoping that it's going to happen, but knowing that it may not. But I have become so passionate about this show, and I want to produce this show so badly that I'm going to be really bummed if we don't get the board and can't pull this off, because I really think that we can produce a hell of a show. And
we do not want to see Kevin Kleinrock bummed. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him look bummed.
I think he wants you, Kurt, to donate the $60,000 now.
Yes,
Kurt. Okay, hold on one second.
Let's talk.
I got 63 cents in my Ring of Fire jeans here. Let me check my workout bag.
Let's call Dr. Lucha. Let's get Dr. Lucha on the phone. Let's make him play.
Yes, let's do that. Let's hit him up.
So how long were you? Because you did a lot of the other shows prior to the Kickstarter going up. How long did they keep you waiting to put the project on?
Well, it wasn't all their fault per se. Oh. There were little hitches along the way. You have to connect an Amazon account to the Amazon business account to the Kickstarter, and so you have to go through that process of getting the Amazon business account all set up first. And then after that, there was we were waiting for a few other pieces of the talent that we wanted to put in the video to be confirmed. And so it did. My plan was originally to launch May 1st, and we ended up launching May 22nd or something.
Yeah.
And I booked a bunch of those appearances before that. I think, look, if you wanted to just throw up a random Kickstarter, you could throw it up, in a night, as long as you already had an Amazon payment account set up. And that was approved. Even though they tell you on Kickstarter, it says that to get your Amazon payment account approved and confirmed, it could take 7 to 10 days or up to 7 days or something. So it was just this thing took 2 extra days and this thing took 2 extra days. And so, but we're here now. And we're live and active, and the total campaign is for 40 days, and I think they said we have got about 33 days left now, I think, and if we want to make it, so spread the word.
It is in motion. It is in motion, ladies and gentlemen. And
if you can't back, spread the word.
I'm sorry.
We got to spread the word. Come on.
Back if you can. Back if you can. If you can't back, spread the word at least. Help us out.
Kurt,
spread the word.
Tired, I think.
No, yeah, it's been a long day, but yeah. No, in all seriousness, I intend to donate something towards it, and I hope everybody else does.
We've seen a lot of the talent on this show, on the list.
We have, actually, yeah. And I think it's going to be a quality thing. And can we have you back maybe halfway through the duration of the Kickstarter and let us know how things are going? Let us know if there's any way we get the word out even further, because we would love this to work.
Okay, one talent that's not on the list yet. There's a bunch of talent that's not on the list yet. We just put out some of the talent. But one of the talents that I know you guys love, who has become a favorite of mine, who will definitely be part of this project, is Hector Canales.
Oh, really?
Oh, awesome! I love Hector Canales.
The first time I saw Hector Canales, I think, was we had done a pilot for NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. The original pilot we did. This was back in maybe 2008 in Hollywood, right on the Sunset Strip, and. I think that was the first time I saw Hector, and it was one of those guys where the first time I saw him, I was like, "This guy's got the look."
He does. So true.
I'd seen him work, and he was a fine worker. There was nothing wrong with his work, but there's nothing spectacular with his work. And then flash forward 5 years or whatever it is, and I start to see the promos that he's doing online with his manly man macho promos with his mother and his
That's
attitude.
my next question. My next question, because this might be contingent on what I put into the Kickstarter fund. Will you use his mother?
Oh my God, yes. Oh,
it's a necessity.
I love everything that he's doing with this gimmick. And I'm assuming he came up with this on his own because there's not really many people that are writing for independent wrestlers who work a bunch of different shows. It's brilliant. It's so good. And it's not just the gimmick. I mean, people have done the, manly man who is kind of whipped by his girlfriend or his mother or his whatever, gimmick before. But he's so freaking good at it, and his delivery is just I lose it every time. It's so
I agree.
Funny. And then the latest one where I didn't think it was really his mother that was in the promos before. You just heard the voice or whatever. But the latest one that I saw that he put out, I think is the latest one with his mother. Oh my God, so hilarious. So yes. Please back the show so that we can get Hector Canales' mother on. Hector
Canales is a wonderful worker, and on top of that, a really wonderful guy with a really mature head in the dressing room. Somebody who's such a pro and just such an open mind too. We cannot say enough nice things about that cat.
Yeah. So he might not be listed today on the website. He'll get added hopefully as time goes on. Mother will get added too. Mother will get added, right? Yeah, I will.
Rockin'.
Right, just like we could list Chaos with Jezebel. We will absolutely list Hector Canales with his mother.
Very cool, very cool. And Chaos will do the voodoo gimmick, right?
Actually, I don't see. It's going to be an interesting thing with the trainers or with the other producers. Is that I'm not exactly sure how much or where they'll be in the ring. I think we might do some tag matches where it would be maybe Adam and a younger worker against Chaos and a younger worker or something to that effect. The other thing with the tapings is that when we tape this, it will be taped over 2 days in Los Angeles. A Saturday and a Sunday. If you back it and you get the iPay-per-view, you get the iPay-per-view both days. And if you back it and you get the tickets, there's one backer, it's tickets for 1 day, one backer's tickets for both days, whatever. But the first day's matches will be all planned out in advance. But the second day's matches are going to be determined the night of the first day after the taping by the producers. Basically deciding, look, this is what we saw today. Let's mix this up for tomorrow. We think, we want to see this guy versus this guy. Let's put these guys in the tag. Let's put these guys in this kind of a match, and we'll go from there. So it's really going to be kind of a living, breathing taping that will evolve over the course of the taping. Because, again, it's about putting on the best matches possible, and it's also about helping bring these guys to the next levels and, in giving them the opportunities to work against guys. I would be really excited to see, Hijo de Rey Mysterio and Extreme Tiger versus the Young Bucks. That would be probably a spectacular match. So you're not going to see anywhere else other than on, Viva L.A. Lucha. So, things like that, I think will be really exciting.
Okay, but keep in mind, and trust me on this, Voodoo Chaos will bring just the whole extraterrestrial, it'll bring you up to a higher echelon of aura, I guarantee you.
But now with no Rixelplex now, with Voodoo Chaos, who is going to be there to be able to handle and hone and make sure that chaos doesn't go out of control?
That's a question that you guys have to answer on the screen.
I think there might have to be. What's Lucky Pierre doing these days?
Lucky Pierre would really love to handle and discipline somebody.
I think so. I
don't think you want to add Lucky Pierre to this.
Very cool. Very cool. In fact, earlier when you said you're looking for wrestlers that can go both ways, were you thinking of Lucky Pierre in that respect too? Because.
Oh no.
I think like Jello, there's always room for Lucky Pierre.
You so rock. Oh man, you get a cyber high five from me, man. Thank you. That's one of the nicest things anybody said to me.
Kevin,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fredo.
Kevin, have you guys already picked out the 15 AAA wrestlers?
No. Most of it's going to depend on who has visas at that point.
Oh, okay.
The entire roster is getting visas, but it's just a matter of exactly who has visas at that point. So we didn't want to release the list yet because we want to have it as packed as possible. I know that there are a few people who definitely want to see Aerostar, or some people I know want to see Jack Evans return to the United States, and different people. So we want to make sure that we can give the best list possible. So when we hopefully get funded, then that list will be released, and it might be as many as 20 wrestlers, but it'll be at least 15 wrestlers to choose from, and then the people who back it at those levels will be able to vote.
What about the UK wrestlers? Do they have visas?
What was that?
Do they have visas already, the UK guys, or still not sure?
We don't have to worry about it so much with the UK guys. But we
sneak over the border.
We can apply. We can apply for visas in time for guys. But because of the other business that AAA has going on, they have all the visas kind of in process already. But from the UK, actually, Fighting Spirit magazine. And the editor, who's on Twitter at FSM_editor, they're doing a kind of a fan poll right now to make the list for us. They're asking all the UK fans who they think should get this opportunity, and then they're going to compile the list, and then we'll be able to have that for everyone to vote on as well. There are definitely some early, I'd say, front runners in guys like El Aguero, who's basically gimmick is that he is a luchador, but he's spectacular. He's really good. Johnny Storm, who I think technically is still the reigning XPW European champion, never having lost the belt despite it hanging on my wall in the office. So there's definitely some names that we're hearing over and over again and seeing. But I'm really excited because aside from all this, one of our missions for Masked Republic right now is expanding our operations into Europe, first by way of the UK. So this is kind of the first small step in that is kind of this olive branch and starting to work some of the UK talent that people in the US haven't necessarily seen live and in person, and that people in Mexico haven't seen live and in person into the Masked Republic world. So this is the first step in that.
Very cool. Well, hey, we want to thank you for filling us in on this tonight. And, if we could talk maybe in another 2 weeks and let us know how it's all going. And if there's send us an email or let us know if there's anything else we could do to get the word out.
Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I just want to reiterate again to everyone, if all you can give is $1 or all you can give is $10, then please, we're going to need all of that support because $60,000 is a lot of money to raise, and so don't be afraid to throw in a few bucks if that's what you can. And on top of that, if you can't give any money, and believe me, there have been points in my life where the last thing I was able to do was to donate to a Kickstarter. I'm happy that now I can, and I've supported a number of wrestling documentaries and other things on Kickstarter. But if you can't, just spread the word. Tell everyone about it. Tell people you think it's a cool idea, and spread the link out via your Facebook and your Twitter and your friends at indie shows, and spread the word. It helps just the same.
Totally awesome. Okay, we'll talk to you in a few.
Kevin, plug your Twitter and everything that you have.
Yeah.
You can follow Masked Republic on Twitter at
tongue-tied already.
You're like me now. It's contagious.
At Masked, M-A-S-K-E-D, Masked Republic. And you can follow us on Facebook. You can find us at Masked Republic. You can go to our website, maskedrepublic.com, which I don't know if either of you ever hang out on maskedrepublic.com, but we like making maskedrepublic.com kind of a portal to the wrestling world. And if you go to maskedrepublic.com, right down the front page under Lucha News, you can always see what's going on LuchaWorld, and then click to see any of their great articles and podcasts right there off the Masked Republic website.
Awesome.
And so go check out the Masked Republic website, and you can see all the other stuff that we've got going on, including our very cool store, luchashop.com. We can get cool, officially licensed T-shirts. These are not knockoffs that people sell outside arenas with the wrestlers getting no money. These are officially licensed. The only officially licensed Konnan T-shirts. And other officially licensed gear and stuff. So check it out. And, we really appreciate you guys giving us the time to talk about Viva L.A. Lucha.
And we appreciate you having coming on. So thank you so much, Kevin, and we will talk to you in a few weeks. And thank you, Hepcats, who tuned in to listen to this exciting new project. Hope all is well out there. Hare Krishna. We will talk to you soon.